Hey, dreamers, and welcome to Dreamers Unite, the talk show for dreamers. I am your host, Sherry Pullum, and as usual, I am grateful that you have joined us on this channel and on this show because you could be doing anything else. So thank you for your time. Well, on this show, we talk about how do we manifest our dreams, right? Because dreams are sacred gifts to us that sometimes only we can see. But how do we manifest it? So we have guests that come on the show. I catch as many golden nuggets as I can, and I throw them out to you because we learn from each other's stories and we learn from each other's journeys. The good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. It all is what makes us unique and special, and it helps us to live the best life that we can. And hopefully that's a life that is fulfilling our purpose and our calling. So let me tell you about this exciting lady that I have on our show today. I like to refer to her, she doesn't know this, but I like to call her a community game changer, because that's really what I see her as. Yes, Tevra Francis, that's what you are, a community game changer. So let me tell you, her name is Tevra Francis, and she has 20 years of experience in marketing and communications. She transitioned from a successful career in healthcare to using her diverse experiences and innate creativity to form her own company, TevMedia, which is a resource for marketing consulting, brand strategy, and positive media. She is the founder of Bergen, which she's going to tell you all about the wonderful things that she is doing. And she deeply cares about the community in which she lives and serves. And she is really a proud wife of her very best friend, Richard. So shout out to you, Richard. So without further ado, let me bring on Tevra Francis. Tevra, welcome to Dreamers Unite.
Thank you for having me, Sherry. I really appreciate it. Looking forward.
Oh, I am always happy to talk to you, Tevra. And I'm thrilled to see you again out there making changes, making big moves, bringing communities together of Black and Brown people. It's really important. You started off in healthcare.
Yeah.
Right? So what led you there?
So when I graduated long time ago, my first job was doing health insurance through the Medicare program. And that led me into health insurance, healthcare financing, healthcare legal support. And I got my master's degree in healthcare services administration and was working in a hospital after a point. So yeah, all of the back end parts of healthcare I'm very familiar with. And from that journey, after a while, and I think our medical people might understand, you kind of, depending on your path, you want something else sometimes. And so I came to a point where, I was no longer working at the hospital where I was. And I decided, okay, well, I've been thinking about starting this media company for a very long time. And my husband and I just talked about it, and he said, well, if you ever had a chance to do it, now is the time. And so I just, started taking on, I have a client that I took on initially and started growing, started to like dip my toe into what's going on here in Bergen County. And yeah, so it just grew from there. So here we are. But healthcare and insurance is where I came from.
Tell us about Bergen and what inspired you to create it.
When I moved here, so backstory is I've only been here just about 7 years now. August makes 7 years that I've lived here. And when I got here, as you know, if you move from place to place, you have to find like a whole new system of like hair services and stores and malls and community and church and all of these things that you want to do and find to establish yourself in a community. So when I got here, I immediately started working in New York City. So everything that I did was pretty much in New York City. So when I had to then focus on being here in New Jersey more. I live here and I just didn't know anything about it. So Bergen in Color was just like the kind of the result of me learning and getting to know things. And I figured, if I needed this information, I'm sure somebody else would need it. And so it started off as like just an Instagram page, and I would every now and then put something up, but usually I would just go on there and lurk and see what I can find. And then I started actually getting serious about posting things that I went to, and then introducing people that I met on the actual Instagram page, and it just grew from there.
So speaking of learning, what have you learned from the businesses? What is the pulse? How can we be more supportive of our communities and of our Black businesses, our Black owned businesses?
Well, since especially in this past, since March, I think everything's kind of been in overdrive. Mm-hmm. What I've learned is that, despite what people assume that we kind of lump into the New York community or the Newark community, Bergen County and this area, we have our own distinct culture and our own distinct way of doing things. And especially with, I call them the big three, Inglewood, Teaneck, and Hackensack.
Yes.
With those communities, there's a lot of Black culture going through those communities, but there are also, long histories of, other cultures and how they've interacted over the years. And in these past few months, especially with the murder of George Floyd and with, COVID-19, we're really having to see now the pulses about, justice, justice in healthcare, justice in politics, justice in, the judicial system, the, penal system, police brutality, all of these things that have always kind of simmered from what I've been learning in these communities. Mm-hmm. All these tensions that have never been, never have gone away. They've always been there. Yeah. Now it's a time where you see like younger, a multiracial, multi-ethnic, coalition of people that are saying, what, enough is enough. We need to do better. And over the past few months, it's been very eye-opening to see, from when I first started covering things from Bergen in Color, I've only been at this for a little over a year, where it was very much closed and people didn't really know who I am, so they didn't really want to it was a lot. But you kind of have to push through. To now, it's just like everybody's really like, what, let's just cut the crap and deal with the things as they come along. We need to share information. We need to share resources.
Yes.
And it's been like a shift in the past few months that I've seen.
And I'm glad that we are gaining more trust within our own communities.
And I think too, a lot of it, well, not a lot of it, but a small part of it, the generational divide and the technological divide. So when I started really trying to get established, it's almost like a lot of people that are on social media only use it for Facebook and those purposes. They don't see it as a tool. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you have to teach them no, this is something that is being used by everybody else to get information across. We need to do the same thing. We've seen the infancy of the internet growing to now it's taken over everything. Yeah. And the same with social media. So we remember back in the days when you can live your whole life without having ever think that your picture would go viral. We didn't even know viral was a medical term,
Right, exactly.
So, but we understand that. Whereas millennials and Gen Z, all they know is technology. So we kind of bridge the gap on all sides with ideology and access and being involved and a part of the evolution of technology in this age. So I kind of appreciate that standpoint a lot, because it kind of gives me a perspective on both sides. Okay, when I go to an event and they give me a paper flyer, it's okay, well, how can I help? Because this is only going to get you so far. But I also understand that, our elders probably would appreciate having that piece of paper in their hands so they could be in the loop as well, So there's many different ways in which, I kind of see this whole shift.
What kind of support does Bergen in Color need?
Do you have an extra hour? So
I do. Well, not this round, but we'll bring you back. But how
No.
can, you're doing really, really and truly though, you're doing great work. And, you know, part of my job or my responsibility, I feel, in having this platform is to be able to bring people together and share information, share resources, and how do we get the support we need to grow.
So, so for the Bergen and Color platform, the help that I need is mainly, you know, we're getting into now, we're just now, like it took me forever to just start sending out rate sheets because I'm so nervous that I'll send out a rate sheet and people will be like, this is too high, girl, bye. No,
Yes.
you know, I'm just now coming to terms with Tevra, you have to start charging.
That's right, Tevra, you must start charging. That, okay,
Like,
wait a minute, before you go on,
mm-hmm.
this is a golden nugget sharing moment
Mm-hmm.
for our viewers.
Yeah.
Okay, viewers, okay, dreamers, listen, you must have value on yourself and on your work.
I assume that your primary, you know, viewer is a female or a woman, and we inherently like devalue ourselves for, we don't want to hurt people's feelings. If I say, you know, it costs this much,
That's
if
right.
I was a guy, it wouldn't be a problem. If it was my husband, he would have said, well, he already says I should have been doing this long time ago. But for me, it's just like, oh gosh, I don't want them to be mad, or, you know, and I get so, you know, but I have to break out of that because, you know, coming from corporate, you don't really think about pricing and the value of your hour and all of that stuff. But now that I'm an entrepreneur, like I have to, you know, all these expenses that I kick out every single month for the things that I need as far as like the basic tools, the emails cost money. Like every email that I send costs me money. You know what I mean? So every, you know, every event that I attend, I have to pay for my ticket because people are not giving me free tickets yet.
Okay, people, we want to Dreamers Unite and Bergen and Color entrance. Please.
Yeah, so you know, I have to buy my ticket, I have to buy my outfit, I have to pay for my parking, I have to pay for, you know, if I take a photographer, they send me an invoice when they're done, you know.
That's right. That's right.
I can't, and I don't, you know, I don't want to be, I hate having to say, you know, I really can't afford this. It's like, no, at some point I have to say, let me step up my game and start bringing in the money so that I could pay people what they're worth. Because if we are supporting Black and minority owned businesses, we can't expect the discount, the hookup, the, you know, the undercut. Like I really try to be fair in what I pay because I want people to understand that I am serious about putting this together. So a lot of the things that I was hoping to have launched, like the website platform and everything, have kind of taken, like, especially with COVID, they kind of have really slowed down. But you know, it's not for lack of, like, I'm being fair. I have contractors. I have all of these things that a media platform would have. But then at the same time, I'm also a one-woman show, and I have to bring in money, and I have to bring in, you know, resources so that this can move forward. So your question was, you know, what would I need? I need ads. I need ads. I have a stable of writers that are ready to go, and so if people are interested in writing, by all means, they can contact me at publisher@bergenandcolor.com. But right now, you know, the support is growing every day. Sometimes I kind of feel a little like, you know, deflated when I see, like, you know, some of these newer sites that are popping up and automatically coming out the gate with 10,000 followers. It's like, well, how do you do that? And I've been busting my butt. But it's like, you know, like they say, the race is not for the swift, is the one that can endure. And I know the value that I'm giving people and the quality and the respect and the thoroughness. Thoroughness is a word.
Yes, it is.
And, so, you know, I can't get sidetracked by looking at just numbers alone, because I know that the people who do follow and who do support really do support. So I appreciate my big fam, and yeah, I am excited as to how this is going to grow and move forward.
Yeah, well, you know that you have my support here at Dreamers Unite family and the Pullum Productions family and beyond, and so many others. We see you. We see the valuable work that you're doing. So ads, please, Dreamers
Yeah,
and beyond. And well-deserved investing your money into Bergen and Color. I mean, it's not like you're asking for something that you're not bringing value to the table.
And that's the thing. That's one thing that if you, for your audience, like, when we say, you got to invest in yourself, that's true. That's absolutely true. Like, yeah, apps are free and yeah, things are free and you could get things done on Fiverr or whatever. But you really need to, depending on your goals, you really need to take the time to actually invest in what you're doing.
That's right.
Learn, read, if you have to go to workshops, if you have to listen to, a lot of stuff is free on YouTube. There's a lot of free YouTube information. But it is important to take the time to learn your market. Before I even started really getting serious about it, I went to a lot of events and people didn't know who I was. I would just, buy a ticket and go and scope out who was who. And, you meet one person, this person introduces you to another person. Hi, I'm Tevra. And I'm, especially back then, I was literally new in town. So, but even that takes the time, like time away from my husband, time away from my home, but it's an investment as well. Like you can't just expect everything to just kind of be handed to you. Like I put a lot of miles on that car going to various events all over North Jersey just to get to know how to get, like I didn't know anything about Patterson. I didn't know anything about Newark. I didn't know anything about, I live down the street from Inglewood, so that's easy. But even the intricacies within Inglewood, I'm still learning every day. But then not everybody lives in the big three. The people live in, I don't live in the big three. A lot of people live in Crestkill and Garfield and Lodi and all of these other places. So I have to explore those as well. So taking that time to invest in your product and invest in your brand makes you more believable because you've done the work and you've actually put in the time.
Yes, 100%. 100%. So here I'm catching that nugget. Value yourself. Okay. Put in the work, put in the time, put a value, monetary value on what you do, and do what? Ask for it.
Yeah.
Ask for it. And if that person says no,
it wasn't for them.
It wasn't for them. Move on and learn and grow and do not give up.
No.
Boom. Catch that nugget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Do you feel like you're living your purpose?
Now I am. Like I said, I was working in health insurance. So I don't think, God bless all those positions that I had. And, I did lots of good work, made a lot of people a lot of money, but that wasn't me. And so back in college, I used to produce poetry readings. I directed a play. I've always been interested in production. I was a stage manager for a 30-day run of Smokey Joe's Cafe back when I, was young. I was in my 20s, but I've always been interested in production, in the arts. I love theater. One of the best things to come out of, being here is my access to Broadway, even though right now, not so much, but so I've always had that in my mind as far as like an interest, but being here now, it's as TevMedia, as Bergen in Color, I feel like now I'm really tapping into why I'm really supposed to be here. I've always wanted to connect people. I've always wanted to use my writing skills, my organizational skills, but in a way that helps my people. And I think I'm just now tapping into that, and I feel good about that. Whereas, in the fields that I was in before, officially, like in corporate, I just, you just get the money.
Yeah, of course, and that's and that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
But is it fulfilling? But is it fulfilling you?
Exactly. It wasn't how I feel these days when I see it grow, and something that I made from scratch is growing. It's really fulfilling to me.
I agree. Something you make from scratch, something you birth in the world, is totally fulfilling.
Yeah.
Ashe.
Yeah.
Yes. What is your dream on the horizon? We're going to play Name It, Claim It, Own It.
Okay. My dream on the horizon.
So hold for 1 second before you give your dream on the horizon.
Okay.
let me tell a little bit. I mean, some people, let me explain to you what Name It, Claim It, Own
Okay.
It is. And also our viewers, if they've not caught this show, and we haven't played it for a minute because we've been in Zoom culture.
Yeah.
So it's a little harder to play Name It, Claim It,
Uh-huh.
Own It. But we're going to do it anyway. So Name It, Claim It, Own It is really about naming your dream. Sometimes if we don't speak what we want, and the power of the tongue is,
Mhm.
and the power of our words are essential, and it's important. It's setting intention. So we have a whole community of dreamers and supporters.
Mhm.
So you're going to name it, and we're going to claim it with you.
Okay.
And then at some point, we know you're going to own it.
Yeah.
So we're going to hold you accountable
Mhm.
and responsible for coming back and owning that dream.
Okay.
But that is why you are going to write it down. You are going to sign it.
Oh Lord.
And usually when I was in a studio before, we
Uh-huh.
actually have a dream box.
Uh-huh.
And listen, at home, you can make a dream box if you want. And
Mhm.
you, Tevra, I encourage you to do the same. You can make a
Okay.
dream
Okay.
box, decorate it the way you want, put some of your visions and your powerful affirmations and words, prayers, stick it in that dream box.
Mhm. And it's
Right?
funny because I'm sitting in front of my vision board right here. So
I love your vision board. I have one too. I love it. And sometimes on the show we make vision boards, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
a little hard again with the Zoom.
Yeah, yeah.
But I want you to write down what that dream is
Okay.
right now. Write it down. Excuse me. And then you can share it with us so we can claim what that dream is. And then we are going to check back in with you and make sure. I mean, here on Dreamers Unite, I mean, the point is to really help and support and grow. I try to hold myself accountable because, listen, it's difficult
Mhm.
manifesting a dream. It's hard work. It's hard
Mhm.
work birthing something.
Yeah, no, it is.
And we need support, and we need the physical support, we need emotional, and we need the spiritual.
Yeah, we need
We
all of
need
them.
the energetic. We cannot leave off that piece. People, we are spiritual beings
Mhm.
living in this material world.
Mhm.
So do not forget actually how powerful you are on the inside
Yeah.
and how powerful your brain is. So let's put our minds together. Tevra, drum roll, please. What is
I'm
this
still
dream?
writing.
Oh, okay.
I know I stopped to listen.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So tell us, I'll let you continue writing, but tell us what that dream is.
So, I have some things, personally that I wrote down. So, I
You don't
don't
have
know.
to share the personal ones
Yeah, I
if you
won't show the
want.
personal ones,
No.
but honestly, my dream for Bergen in Color and for TevMedia is to really grow to become a major player in the media landscape for this area and beyond, like literally beyond. This particular model can work in other places, and
Absolutely.
so once I get this Bergen County area, working like a fine-tuned machine, then then it becomes time to replicate. And yeah, I really want to connect to community. I think, I look up to, John H. Johnson and Essence Magazine and Ebony and Jet, because they showed life as it was for our community. And
That's
I
right.
think a lot of times why they struggle is because it's the community that's way up here and not the community that's you and me, and I think a lot of times people love to see themselves. They want to see people that look like them. And
Yeah,
there is place for the aspirational, but there's also place for the day-to-day, because there's beauty in the day-to-day.
that's right.
And so my dream, going back to that, I want to have a building. I want to have a building that has a coffee shop that I name after my grandmother. And I want to be able to hire people from the community and have an actual space where people can like come and be inspired, but earn money or start their own or whatever. But that's part of my goal. And then my personal ones are my personal ones, but they're written down here too, because they really, like this whole Bergen and Color TevMedia dream is actually number 3 on the list. I have a 1 and a 2 that's very important to me. So, because, and if you allow me to expand, at the end of the day, like you said, we're spiritual beings in a physical, experience. And we have to make sure that in all of our hustling and working, and we just make sure that we keep ourselves focused and honest as to what we really truly want in life, and it's not always going to be the material, the financial, oh, I like your mug, the
Merch, a little merch.
I see that. I'm gonna have to copy that, Sherry. But it's not always just the material or the position or whatever. There are dreams and goals that God put in you that have nothing to do with how many degrees you have.
That's right.
And so I really want to hold on to that. And I have my family here and my husband and I, and he's my best friend. And at the end of the day, that's who God tied me to. And I want that to be, the priority. Yeah. So if Bergen and Color, if this never happens, like if I'm good with the spiritual side and then the other things, I'm good. But I really want Bergen and Color to win too.
As we're affirming it with you and we're claiming it with you, and you have now put it out there in the world, right? Mm-hmm. Now the thing is, we're gonna come back to you and say, hey, how are you coming along with that dream? We're gonna check in.
That's
right?
fine. I think
and it's a good thing. I'm even thinking of doing like a little check-in series, and even checking in for myself and holding
where are they now?
Accountable and responsible for what it is that I want to do. Because at the end of the day, our life, your life is your own.
Yeah.
My life is my own. Yeah. And if you don't live it here and now, that is your responsibility.
Yeah.
You do not want to take your dreams to your grave.
Exactly.
To your moment of transitioning.
Exactly.
So we're not going to let that happen. Tevra, I know you're not going to let that happen.
No.
Thank you so much for playing Name It, Claim It, Own It with us.
Thank you.
You can definitely finish it up, put it in your dream box. I can take a picture of your dream box. I'll post it out, share it. So, 2 last questions for you.
Okay.
You've said so many things. We've caught a lot of nuggets. And what is that piece of advice, that valuable, I want to say maybe a core value that you live by, that you think could help our community, or our community of dreamers, our community of Black and brown people, our community of humanity?
Okay. Well, I'll talk to the dreamers first. Hey, dreamers. So you just said it basically, your life is your own. And for many, many, many years, I kind of just, lived the corporate life. And in that arena, a lot of times I did not feel like my life was my own, because I used to call it golden handcuffs, because you make your money, and I was not happy. And if you're happy in your job, that's awesome. But it will behoove you to really take stock. If you're not happy, if you're not fulfilled, if you're not living the life that you thought of for yourself, I feel like it would be really helpful for you to take stock and see what changes. I'm not saying, hey girl, quit your job. I'm not saying that at all. But even by volunteering your time, helping somebody else, doing something outside of yourself, outside of your immediate family, can probably bridge the gap in a lot of ways. But find ways to kind of slowly introduce things that really speak to your heart. Because again, it's important to be able to say, you know what, this is my life, this is what I wanted to do, and this is what I'm doing, no matter what form that takes. And this is not me knocking corporate at all, so, but there are so many ways that you can tap into your dreams. Just get creative and open your heart to what's next. And then also, as far as, Black and brown communities. So honestly, I wish that we had more unity amongst, the various minority groups in this area. And that would be my dream for this area and others. I'm from Southern California, which is a big melting pot. New York City is a big melting pot. This area is a big melting pot. But as I continue to go on, it seems like everybody is definitely in their own silos. And I really would want people to connect more, because in a lot of ways we are more alike than we are different.
Yes.
And a lot of our struggles are very similar. You know, everybody has their own battles that they face, and especially African American people, we know, you know, the systemic racism that exists. So I want everybody to have an open mind when it comes to learning about other cultures, learning about other people. And as you learn and see, you know, more of other people's experience, you'll see that, you know, okay, we should do a better job as to being more united. So that would be my 2 cents on that. And as for the dreams for, what was one more, the humanity, the same thing. Because my other dream, which is a short-term dream, is that everybody votes. And that, you know, there is a spiritual shift, a cultural shift that has happened in America. And it's not just about Democrat and Republican. It's a lot deeper than that. And so we need to make sure that we are not allowing ourselves to get sucked into the red and blue of it all, but we're actually looking at a deeper level as to what is actually going on, and decide, you know, whose side are you going to be on when it's all said and done, you know? And it's not even about whose side is black and white, or, you know, it's deeper than that. And
Absolutely.
We have to make sure that we're on the right side of history and right side of, you know, of the law, the spiritual law.
Yes, the right side, I like to say, of humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
And living with compassion.
Yeah.
And living with love.
Yeah.
That agape love.
Yeah, exactly.
That love that overflows so you can give to others. Yeah. Yeah. Just keep going, my sister.
Thank you. I will.
Climbing and climbing. So you know that I'm on my journey too. Launching my own television series, Cherry Red Sweet Escape. And we've come a long way.
Yeah.
We definitely have some interest, which I've not shared before.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We do have some great interest. We're going to get there. Yeah. We're going to get there. And part of the show really is to show people. For me, I spent many, many years, I just want to inspire people through my arts and through my gifts and talents, what God has given me.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's not as much about the show and saying, yes, I'm having this television show. It's about saying, if I can do it,
yeah,
you can do it.
Yeah.
But there are days, Tevra, where I feel like sometimes, you know, oh my goodness, can I do it? So when we get tired, or when I get tired, give me something that can motivate me. Give me something that I can motivate these dreamers with. And what do you use when you feel like, oh my goodness, I am going to quit. I'm not going to do this anymore.
You know, honestly, I had that thought this week, because as you know, I do a Wednesday, you know, Instagram chat, and I didn't have any guests, and it was coming up and I was really tired, and I was just like, oh, but I've been doing it every Wednesday for the past like 4 months. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do it. But something happened, and you know, the TNEC issue, and I went ahead and did it. And I sounded bad, but I just did it anyway. And it became something that was very helpful to that community. Sometimes it's not just about you, you know, which is what I would say to the dreamers. It's not all about you. Like, God puts things in our heart, and you know, he wants us to do it. You have this window of opportunity to do it. You need to do it, because it's not about you per se. Like, it's good that you did it, and you will get the benefit in some kind of way, but a lot of times God is using you as a vessel to help somebody else. And so I'm really working on my obedience. I'm not always like, you know how you hear, you know, Tevra, you need to do this, and you just say, oh, I don't got time, or oh, I'm tired. Like, Tevra, go work out. You know, all of those things. I don't think it's just, you know, you talking to yourself. I think it's the Lord giving you that nudge, like you need to do this. Or if you place something on your heart, like a business or a project or an urge to help, you know, volunteer or start an organization, it's not so much because he wants to bless you, even though he is doing it to bless you, but because he knows that through you, you can bless so many other people. So like I work a lot with the Never Alone Again Resource Center with Teresa Johnston there, and she has an amazing story about how, you know, she was a domestic violence survivor, and you know, she in a really bad incident that happened to her. She was in the hospital, and she said, Lord, if you get me out of this, I promise nobody will ever go through this again. And since then, she has been obedient, and she has put one brick on top of the next brick and one step in front of the next step, and she's growing her center. And her center is designed to rescue these women who are in and families who are in these dire straits that can't get out. So a lot of times, like I go back to saying, it's not just about you. When you feel like you're tired, just think about what missed opportunities you might have had to bless somebody else, and why God has placed this on your heart. And you know, we can always get rest, you know, after we're done, but I don't want to go, you know, whenever I have to go and the Lord asked me, why didn't I do it? Because I was tired, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know.
And miles to go before we sleep, and miles before we sleep. Tevra, thank you for that. I'm going to carry that and keep that, because I do ultimately know, you know what, this Dreamers Unite, Cherry Red Sweet Escape, it really is about empowering us, giving us voice when we don't feel like we have voice. You know, Cherry Red Sweet Escape is about living your true self and not apologizing for it and not being afraid, because that true self is what God created you to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then too, if you think about it, even on a production level and the Tyler Perry model, I remember he was given an award or something like that, and he was talking about all of the various now A-list actors who have come to do Tyler Perry movies and plays. And, you know, as much as we dismiss Tyler Perry's, you know, production quality, he really put a lot of people on the map. And again, because it wasn't just about him, it wasn't about his big house and his big, you know, come up. He made a lot of people, he's changed the trajectory of the families and the family lines for lots of other people going forward. So we, you know, when you talk about your show and the people that you're going to, you know, attract as far as viewership, and the people that you're going to hire and the people that you're going to feature, like this could be something that really sets the pace for significant change in your community. So, you know, keep going. And I'll keep going too.
And we'll keep supporting one another. And don't you worry, when you get tired, call me. Okay. Email, text me, call me. I'll put you back on the straight and narrow. Okay, Tevra, you will not quit. And you do the same for me. Okay. Thank you so much. Well, dreamers, that is it. We have had yet again a wonderful time together. Thank you, Tevra Francis, Bergen in Color. How can people find you?
So you can go to www.bergenincolor.com. We're on all social media at Bergen in Color, and look forward to our online magazine launch and our publication launch.
Yes, yes. And we'll be at Dreamers Unite Show. We'll be supporting, sharing information. And please, if you haven't subscribed, what, as I say again, are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, hit that blue bell for more uplifting, motivating, and encouraging content. Thank you, dreamers, and I'll see you again soon.